Hi, I'm Kath. I'm 52. I had one child born in 2000, self-recognized as autistic in 2004. My perimenopause started, I think, in 2014. I was formally diagnosed as autistic, no ADHD in 2015, and I've had no periods for 2 years, but I'm still hot flushing. There's very little research about autistic menopause strategies or support, but there's a couple of good articles and research papers there. So I had intensified sensory sensitivities, even more difficulties with emotional regulation, planning, focusing, multitasking, and these are all characteristics of being autistic anyway, and they just really magnified all of these difficulties. So lack of predictability about when I would feel hot or cold. I also have atypical interoception, so I find it very, very difficult to identify my internal states. And also I'm alexithymic, so trying to recognize and communicate how I'm feeling to others is difficult, really magnified, and all of that really, really difficult to seek support because of my communication differences. So often people would ask me, how are you? And I just say, I do not know. It's great strategies for me personally. So I really focused on making sure that my workplace adjustments were in place just to get me through. So I had a workplace reasonable adjustments passport, a RAP. It stated car travel, so I drive, which was absolutely a lifesaver. First class travel on essential trains. I have difficulties, obviously, with regulating my temperature because I'm autistic, but also extra difficulties during the menopause and still now. I have touch sensitivity, so I find touch from others repulsive at the best of times, difficulties with sensory sensitivities from noise, but odours as well in particular. So, and as well, I forget to eat because I don't recognise those signals in my body that I'm hungry, and I confuse being anxious with being hungry and the other way around as well. Another one was less real-time meetings. So thank goodness for the pandemic. It was terrible for lots of people. Great for me because, I had less fighting to do with my employers. So, doing away completely with in-person team meetings and making sure that my employer was setting up everything for hybrid. But kept trying to cut down on travel where I could. I had a job where I had a lot of travel, so control over how and when I travelled was really, really important for me. No touching, extra personal space at all times. So that was a hard sort of condition there, not to be broken. Frequent breaks outside to fresh air, no unscheduled calls or meetings at all I needed because of the brain fog, lots of extra time to prepare and to try and remember what the call was about, and extra planning and prep time because of that. My difficulties in that area anyway, due to being autistic, but extra difficulties when you're perimenopausal. So one unexpected benefit, I've always struggled with trying not to pretend that I'm not autistic because that's really exhausting, and that massive toll it takes on your energy levels, and then the extra layer of going through the menopause. I just couldn't do it. So whereas I'd been trying maybe for 10 years not to camouflage and mask that I was autistic, I had no choice. And that was one of the very great benefits of menopause for me, is that I was freed completely because I just couldn't do it. And I've maintained that sort of coming out the other end now. So that was a huge added benefit for me.